welcome to the Charlotte Mason Curriculum Chat number 4. I'm so excited to be hosting this each week on Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at least the summer. I haven't committed beyond that. But for those who may not know me, I'm Dolly Freeman, the blogger behind the Charlotte Mason Way, and I have been sharing some of my favorite resources, and I hope they are a big help to you as you're planning out your Charlotte Mason homeschool for the next school year. So I get a lot of questions about homeschoolers, a whole lot of questions about how to homeschool the Charlotte Mason way, because usually at that time in someone's homeschooling journey, they tend to make changes. They may have homeschooled all the way up, and then high school, they think they have to change things around because of state requirements and college decisions. So I'm here to tell you that you can still homeschool in Charlotte Mason's way in high school. In fact, it's a really good way for your children to actually become better prepared for college, as well as being prepared for adult life. And a lot of her methods play right into the way that they need to be working and doing things in a homeschool environment. A college environment. All right, so if you haven't checked out my other curriculum chats, I encourage you to click on my page videos and you'll see curriculum chats 1 and 2 as well as 3. This is number 4. So each week I'm sharing another resource as long as I'm home and not traveling. So here it is for today. Today's is Genesis, Finding Your Root. This is a Bible resource that could be used for high schoolers. Depending on your middle school, you could actually, middle schooler, you could actually bring it in here into their lessons as well. It's a little over their head for younger elementary ages. There still would be some good stuff in it for elementary, but I think it's just has a lot of really good deep things in it that do better for those that have the debate process already going on. So minimum middle school, but it's perfect for high schoolers. So let me show you. Okay, this is by Ruth Beechick. So here it's broken up into units. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. There's a glare, I know. But there is 6 units, and there is some pretty eye-opening parts in this that is kind of like, I've never seen that before. So I really recommend that you guys look at this before you just give it to your kids, because there's a lot of discussion opportunities in here. What I love about this book is you can also do biblical art study as well. So there's, throughout this book, they have really good pictures. And it has verses, and it talks about the painter, the artist, and when it was created, or when they created it as well. So there's a lot of different options in here. So here's some more. And this is, it gives you the passage, so you can read the Bible right in here, or you can open up your Bible. We also opened up, we have the interlinear Bible that has the Hebrew and Greek. So we actually went through that as well. But they give some really good descriptions for their graphics in here. And then they have a scripture study. So they tell you what to read. They tell you what to underline, draw a map of Eden, list Adam's descendants through Cain, and then memorize. They have memorizing in here as well. They have topic studies. And it just is so thorough. It's probably one of the best books that I've seen. I would have loved it if she had continued on, because it really takes apart Genesis in a powerful way and lets everyone really get into this. So I'm seeing comments here. Let's see if I can. Now I see where I can get them. Hey, Michelle, glad you're here. Let me know if you guys have any questions. But I just love how the art is depicted from biblical times, and it's all explained into here. Now, there are some pretty powerful things in here that makes you have these deep conversations with your children. And I love having that with our children, especially in high school. It kind of gives you the opportunity to just dive deep with them. Hello, Stephanie. Okay, so the book is Genesis, Finding Our Roots, and it's from Ruth Beechick. It's perfect for high schoolers. You could put middle schoolers in here, but I really wouldn't recommend it too much for elementary children. They could like glean by listening, but it's really a deep study on Genesis. And they go into a whole lot of topics that I think is just going to be over the head of an elementary. But again, I believe in letting your younger kids hear, but don't expect them to be able to do more than hearing, right? So they would probably benefit from some of the discussions. But there is, oh, this is something else I loved about it. Further study as well. I'm sorry, there's such a glare today. Further study. So this is about different options that you have to further study some of the content inside this. So when I said that there is a lot of actual topics to discuss, I'm going to show you, because this was inside our book, and I have looked and looked for this recently and could not find it. And then when I opened this up as a homeschooling mama, my heart went, oh, I thought I had lost this forever. But this is something that my daughter did while going through here. If you don't know how we homeschool the Charlotte Mason way, we use what I call timeline binders for our history. And I might have to do a live on that some other time, but I'm going to just give you the nugget of it. And you can go to joyinthehome.com. That's where I shared it, because I used to share all my Charlotte Mason things on that site. So joyinthehome.com, and then you just search timeline binders and you'll learn a little bit about it. But that's what we do for our history. And we start with Bible history. And they have a checklist that they have to fill out for this timeline binder. If you're familiar with lap books, it's similar to that, but these fit inside 3-ring binders. And I actually put it together with my daughter's help. So this was something she did all together. I did not assign it to her. I just assigned certain aspects that she had to fill out. So this was her choice of study, and it's the account of astronomy. So, you know, the world has the account of astrology, but this is the account of astronomy, and this is the story of creation in the stars. So if you don't know about this aspect, it's powerful. It's so good. And when my daughter did this, I got so excited because I had never learned this story before. But this goes through, I'm going to try to come close. This is her doing, you know, she did these little narrations on what each of they mean, and the part of the history story, the biblical stories, and they're written in the stars. And we are just not taught that because we're taught about astrology versus astronomy. So I found a joy this morning when I opened it up and this came out. So I was so excited. I really thought that my youngest, or my third child, lost it when he was looking at it. But yeah, so this just it's really hard to do art study on biblical times, but this is full of art that I've never seen before. And, you know, they got to see a little bit of Hebrew, Chinese, this is Chinese. So there's just so much. They have poetry in here. It's so Charlotte Mason. It's just unbelievable. So when our third child did this, he did this on his own. Our other two worked through it together. He was just talking nonstop to me about it and just really loved this book. So all three of our children give this a thumbs up, a 5-star, whatever, however you want to say it. And as a mom who wants my children to be strong, especially in Genesis, because, you know, we are creationists, I want them to understand the book of Genesis. So this has been a very big book. We've used it 3 different times. We'll use it a fourth when our youngest gets into high school. And I wouldn't be surprised if my kids took it off my shelf when they have children in homeschooling. Did you say you used the book to fulfill a history requirement? Yes, I did. So one year of history is Bible history. So we go deep into Bible history. So this would be the first term for us, is that they would have to know Genesis. And so I think this was the living book for, it may not have been 1 term, it may have been 2 terms. I can't quite remember. I think my 11th grader that just finished 11th grade, I think he did that in 9th grade, for sure in 10th. So it's been a little bit. But yes, so we do Bible history, and that starts our world history, is we do Bible history. And we go really deep in that. So yeah, they learn where everything falls in the biblical timeline, so that they are certain that our earth is young and not old. And it just really has created a very firm belief in biblical truth. So I would not homeschool without this book. I would not homeschool high school without this book. That's how much I value this one book. I will never loan it out either. So I have my affiliate link in this post. It's on sale right now on Amazon with Prime, so it's free shipping. And I think it was $11. I think it's normally $15. I think it was 11 something. So it's on a good price right now. So even if your children are not in high school, I'm just going to tell you, grab it now, put it away, and don't give it to anyone to borrow. Don't, because I've made those mistakes a few times and had to buy books a couple times. So just, you're not a library. You're building your Charlotte Mason library, and that's what you want to remember. And the fact that it's non-consumable, it's something that you can use year after year after year. It's a great one if you want to do a Bible study yourself, or even with your church. It's a perfect book. So are there any questions? Good question, Beth. Her question was, they have a paperback and a hardcover. Is there a difference? So mine is a hardcover, and it was her first edition. I know she has since redone it. The front looks different, but you just want to look for Genesis. Well, you don't have to look. The link is right there, so it's easy for you. I recommend the hardcover, and the reason being is if you have multiple children, paperback just doesn't do it for me. I like to protect my books, and the hardcovers protect it. In fact, my last child, my 4th child, he's just finished his 3rd grade. Within 2 or 3 weeks into our school year this year, he's the only one that's ever done this, but the front of his math book, Matthew C book, was torn off, and within a couple weeks thereafter, the back was. That's how rough he can be on books. But thank goodness it was a consumable book, not one that, in fact, he gets to burn it at the end of the school year. So it wasn't a big thing to me. But because my kids tend to be rough with books, I like to spend a couple extra dollars and get the hardcover. So I think hardcover is the way to go. Are there any more questions? I'll stay on a couple more minutes if you have it, because I know Bible is a hard topic for a lot of people. Especially when you're in high school. Oh, and I wanted to point out too, let me see. There are so many assignments in the back of this book for further study. Like for the first one, they go through the days of creation. And this is this is what I love. They show the Hebrew word, which is dome. Let me make sure I'm right, because it's been a while since I said it. I'm pretty sure it's a dome. Well, bara is yom, Y-O-M-E. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew I was saying it wrong. Yom. And then they learned the word bara, which means create, and that Hebrew word bara means to create out of nothing. And it's only used a few times in Genesis. And so my children learned these Hebrew words, and that helped them build their faith and in the actual 7 days of creation. So this is a really, these are the class day windows of the days of creation. But like for the back of this, it says 6-day chart. Make a chart showing what was created or made on each of the 6 days, or make them in the form of a booklet. Here's a question to think about while you create your chart. What would happen between the 3rd and 4th day if there had been a long period of time between these events instead of just one day? That's the kind of questions that are in here that are so thought-provoking, that makes children sit and take a step back and say, oh, what would happen? And then they would have to then touch base with their science side and think about, well, what did happen? You know, chemistry means that there wouldn't be any oxygen for the trees, or carbon dioxide for the trees to live. So that's what would happen between the 3rd and 4th day. And so that kind of got their mind going. But that 6-day chart is something that you can do with your younger children, so that there are some ways you can pull it in to make it a family plan, not a family plan, a family lesson plan. But there are definitely other ones in here that are more high school. But I love it because it's pretty much all you need. And then you can just pick and choose what you want to do. You could literally do this for an entire year if you wanted to. There's that much in here. Okay, so what else do you use for your biblical history course? Well, I might have to share that on another curriculum chat, because I definitely have a lot of resources that I can share. So I'll put that down as an idea, but I want to focus on this one because we could talk all day about curriculum. We know we can. So I'll put that down as an upcoming one and answer that question for you, Stephanie, definitely. All right, so Beth, the affiliate link went to the paperback. If we want the different hardcover, would that be a different link? If you click on that link, I'd still get credit for it. So just go ahead, click on that link and get the hardcover if you prefer. I didn't notice the difference, but thank you for asking that. All right, so I really loved having you guys on here today and asking some of the questions, but man, this is one that I rub the cover. I rub covers of anything that I cherish with books, and this is definitely a living book, 100% Charlotte Mason, and it will definitely concrete your biblical faith in your children about creation and finding our roots as history, so that they can have that firm foundation. And it's so important to have in high school, because if you don't do that and your kid goes off to college, I know so many families whose children go as Christian, Bible-believing Christians, and within the first year, they become atheist, because there is a big agenda in colleges. So if your child is college bound, wonderful. Just do your part in those 4 years of high school to ensure that they have a firm foundation in their own belief, not your belief, but their own belief, that they've done the digging. That's what Charlotte Mason says. When a child digs for their own knowledge, then it becomes theirs. So this is one of those books that they will dig. They will dig hard to find out if they believe in Genesis or not. And there's questions in there that they'll have to answer that will help them be able to debate against evolution. So it's so, so important. And you guys just went nuts on here. So Beth, you can choose format on the same link. Okay. All right. So there you have it. This is our 4th curriculum chat. I can tell you guys are loving it. I love doing it because I love talking about books. And I've just never had the ability to focus on it. But I thought, hey, I can do 15 minutes every week and come and share one of my favorite resources each week and be able to do that. So thank you for joining me. You can count on me being here at 1:30 next Wednesday. I look forward to sharing more with you about it, different books. And if you have questions, like I think it was Stephanie said, what else do you do for world history? Ask them on the next live, and I'll make sure that I put them in my agenda to help share it with you guys. All right, I hope you're enjoying your summer and enjoying curriculum season. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Have a wonderful week.